Hi modern fashion designers, welcome back to class. This is Modern Woman Apparel. I want to specially thank all my subscribers, and if this is your first time here, you're highly welcome. Please join us by hitting on the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you. So guys, in today's class we are going to be making this beautiful dress which was inspired by our very own actress Regina Daniels. And without wasting much of your time, we're just going to get right into the tutorial of the day. We're going to be drafting the upper part first before going over to the down part, which is the skirt part. And all you need for this upper part is the shoulder width, the shoulder to bust point, bust circumference, shoulder to underbust circumference, shoulder to your front waist length, and shoulder to your back waist length. You also need your waist circumference, your bust span, which is your nipple to nipple, and most importantly, you need your cup size or cup height. So as we proceed, I'm going to also show you how to get the cup size. Now first thing first, I'm going to rule out all the basic lines that we'll be needing for this front part. Please note that for the sake of tutorial, I'm always using a marker pen, but please, when drafting yours, make sure to use a pencil. I always use a marker pen so that we can see the lines clearly. So guys, as you can see, this is my starting line here, which will also serve as the shoulder line, and from here to here is the bust point, 11 inches. Note you're working with your own measurement, and this is under bust of 14.5 inches. This is the waist length or half length of 18 inches. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to get the shoulder width. So I'm working with shoulder of 15. I'll divide it by 2 and I'll have 7.5. So this is my 7.5, and from this starting line here, I'm going to come down by 8.7 for my armhole depth. So to get your armhole depth, you need to divide your bust circumference by 6 plus 1.5 plus another 1. So this additional one you're adding is for your shoulder slope. I hope you understand. Now I'll also make sure that the same shoulder width I have here is still the same shoulder width I have here. So this is 7.5. Now before I connect these two lines together, because this is the front panel, I'm going to come down here by 1.5 for the shoulder slope. So I'll just connect the lines together. After this, what I'm going to get is my basic neckline. So the basic neckline I'm working with is 3 inches. So please work with your basic neckline. To get your basic neckline, just divide your belt circumference by 12. So by the time I'm working with bust circumference of 37 divided by 12 will give me 3 inches. So this is 3 inches for the basic neck width. So for the basic neckline, you can see that we're making a corset with Queen Anne neckline. So that means we do not need the regular neck depth here. So we're going to leave this like this. So after doing this, I'll also, what I have from here to this point here, in order to get a straight line here, I'll also impute it here. So I have 8.7 there. I'll just mark out 8.7 here so that I can be able to rule my chest line. Now having done this, I'll get my armhole curve. So I'll go up from this chest line by 3 inches and I'll go in by half an inch. Now on this point of the chest line here, I'm going to divide the bust circumference by 4. So bust circumference of 37 divided by 4 is 9.25. So this is 9.25, and I'm going to connect the armhole curve. After this, the next thing we are going to be doing now is the contouring. So we are going to get at that leg by dividing the nipple to nipple by 2. So I'm working with nipple to nipple of 7.5 divided by 2 is 3.75. So I'm going to rule it all the way from this bust point to the waistline. Now after this, I'm going to divide what I have on this shoulder slope by 2, make a mark on the midpoint and connect it from that midpoint to the bust point line. The next thing we're going to do now is to get our cup size. So please, this cup size is very important, and for the cup size, this is how to measure your cup size. So guys, this is how to measure your cup size. Now this cup size is very important when you're making a corset because it tells you where you're using it to determine the size and height of your cup. Now what you're going to do is to place your tape on the underbust. So place your butt. Now let's assume this is the underbust here, this chalk line I made here. All you need to do is to place your tape on it and follow the highest point of your bust and just measure wherever you want this cup height to get to. So if you want to reveal cleavage, if you do not want your cleavage to be revealed, it all depends on what you want. So whatever measurement you get, that is what you're working with. For me, I'm making use of 7.5. I hope you understand. Now after I'm done getting my cup size, so what I'm using is 7.5. So I'm going to come up here from this underbust here by 7.5. So this is it, and I'm going to just rule a straight line. Now that I'm done with this, the next thing we are going to start with is the contouring. So you know we have already treated all the contouring for different bust sizes, all the dart intake for different cup sizes, and if you're here to watch the tutorial, you can check on the link on the comment section. You find the link to this very tutorial on the picture. So for this, I'm going to be making use, the difference between my underbust and bust circumference is 6 inches. I'm going to be using 2.5. You can also use 2.25 if the person's bust is not full. So this is, I'm putting 1 inch here, 1.5 on this part. So 1 inch, 1.5. You can also decide to share it equally. So having done it, the next thing is the overbust dart. I'm using 0.75 here and 0.75 here, and I'll be making use of my curve rule to do this. So I'm using the curvy part of my ruler this time to make this. So you can see, please pay attention to how I'm placing this curve rule. Now on this very part too, you can see the way I'm positioning this curve rule. Now you can see positioning it this way has already helped it to blend. Now you will notice that for this very one, I did not go out by my usual 0.25 before connecting the damper. The reason is because I'm using a curve rule for this very part here. I use the curve rule for this very part. If I'm to use a straight ruler for this very part, automatically I'm going to go out here by 0.25 before connecting this damper. I hope you understand. Now this is what I mean. Now you can see this very one here, because I used a straight ruler for this, for the overbust contouring here. I use a straight ruler here. You can see that before I connected this curve here, I shifted for about 0.25 before connecting this line. Because I know the next place that most of you who are already used to my tutorial will go now is the comment section to ask why I didn't shift by my regular 0.25. Now you know the reason. So going ahead, the next thing we are going to do now is to get all our measurements before drafting out the cup. So this is my 9.25, the bust divided by 4. So I'm going to pick up what I have here. This is about 0.6, and I'm going to replace it. Here I'm working with underbust of 31 divided by 4 is 7.75, and I'm going to add back this 2.5 for that. I'm working with waist length of 29 divided by 4 is 7.25. I'm going to add back this 2.5. So you can see that I'm using my exact waist circumference. There is no reduction because you're working with zipper, and in this case I'm not snatching the waist. Now having done this, the next thing I'm going to also do is to get my bust dart, which is the difference between my front and back waistline. So the front is 18 while the back is 16. So the difference there is 2 inches. So I'm going to mark out the 2 inches here and connect back to the bust point. After this, we are going to bring out our cup. So this is just like a bustier, which means that before you start learning how to make a corset, you first of all understand your bustier pattern. I hope you understand. So here, because you can see the neckline that we're doing there is a straight neckline. It's not curved, it's not sweetheart neckline. So we are going to start here. Just come down here by, so you can also start from this straight line here, but I'll just come down here by half an inch, and from this center I'll go in by half an inch. And after doing this, on this bust point line here, I'll go in by 0.75. So here is half inch, here is 0.75, and I'll connect. I'll also go ahead and connect this part. Note it should not be curvy. Before I connect this very curvy, what I'm going to do is to close up this bust dart line. So I'm going to slash it and close it up. So to do that, just cut open this waist dart so that you can be able, you can see I cut it up to the bust point line so that you can also be able to fold here. So you can also cut it or just fold, so you can see what I'm doing. Fold it and place it on the bust point line like this. After that, use your tape to hold it. So guys, this is it. Now that we have done this, you can see that this very part has shifted. All we need to do, this very line here has shifted, so all we need to do is to blend it in. So just blend it back this way. Now we can make our other cup here, our side cup. So what I'm going to do now is to add half inch. I'm going to divide the nipple to nipple by 2 and add half inch to it. The nipple to nipple I'm working with is 7.5 divided by 2 is 3.75. So this is 3.75 plus half inch, and I'll connect. So guys, after this curve, the next thing we are going to do is our point and neckline. So to do that, you just have to simply connect from here to this neck width. So you can see what I have here. Now we are not going to leave this way. We are going to make sure that these two cups will match up by the time we join these two together. So what I'm going to do is to measure this dart line here, this dart leg I have here, and make sure this dart leg here is having the same measurement. So this is what I mean. From this bust point line here, I'm going to measure. So I have about 4.3. I'm going to make sure I also have 4.3 on this very dart leg here. So this is it. So this is it. And I'll simply connect it back to here. This way, by the time you're joining the two cups together, no one will be longer or shorter than the other. You will notice that we didn't tighten the yoke. There is no need for it. And you will notice that I didn't add back the dart that I removed from here. So please do not add back this over bust tightening dart. You're only going to add back the dart that is on the line of this chest line. So from the chest line down, you add your dart back. But please do not replace the dart that you removed here. I hope you understand. So I'm going to cut this out. So guys, this is what we have. This is cup 1 and this is cup 2. So guys, this is it for the front part. Now because I do not want to have any seam line or that line showing on this front part, what I'm going to do is to join these two together and use my tape to hold it, because I want to cut the front part as a whole, not in pieces. I hope you understand. Also note that this is optional. You can decide to add your seam allowance here while transferring this to fabric. You can decide to add your seam allowance here to sew these two together, but I want to close it up because that is how I want to cut mine. So this is how I'll be cutting it. You can see I've already taped this down. So guys, this is it for the front part. The next thing we are going to do is to cut out the back part. So guys, this is the back part here. So this is the starting line here, and this is the center back line. We'll be getting the zipper part later. Now this is the shoulder width divided by 2, which is 7.5 I have here, and this is the same neckline I have here, the same basic neckline. I'm using 3 inches for this. Remember, I divided the bust circumference by 12 to get this 3 inches, and what I have here is 2 inches for the neck depth. If you want it to be higher than this, you can use 1.5 for the neck depth. From here to here is the 8.7 I use for the armhole depth. I got it by dividing the bust circumference by 6 plus 1.5 plus an additional 1, which is for this shoulder slope. So you can remember that for the front I use 1.5 for the front shoulder slope. For the back, we are making use of 1 inch for the back shoulder slope, and after that you connect back to the neckline. So this is the armhole depth and this is the chest line. Now what I'm going to do is to extend this chest line all the way to this center back line. The waist length I'm having for the back is 16 inches, while for the front I'm having 18 inches, so which gave me 2 inches as the difference. Now to get your back under bust line, you have to step away from this starting line by the difference between your front waist length and the back waist length. So I'm going to, now you can see that I stepped away by 2 inches before marking my under bust, and this is 16 inches for my back waist length. And how to also get this under bust is by using your front pattern. So just measure what you have from your waistline to your under bust. So for me, I'm having 3.5. This 3.5, I'll just come to this my back waist length here and step up by 3.5, so you can see what I have here. I hope you understand. Now before we start inputting all other measurements, what we are going to do now is our back tightening. So I'm going to be using 1 inch. I'll come to the waist length here and go in by 1 inch for the back tightening. So you can use between ½ inch, 0.75 to 1 inch. It depends on how deep the back is. So from this 1 inch, I'll just connect like so. Having done this, I'll start taking all my measurements. Now remember that for the front, we step up from this chest line here by 3 inches before we got the armhole curve. But for this back, we are going to divide what we have from here to here by 2. Make a mark on the midpoint and go in by ½ inch. Now from here, because we have gotten this line, we are no longer making use of this. So this is our new center back line. So I'm going to start taking my measurement from this new center back line. So I'll divide the bust circumference by 4 here, and after that I'll go ahead and connect my armhole curve. So guys, this is it. Next thing I'm going to be doing is getting my dart by dividing my nipple to nipple by 2. So the nipple to nipple I'm working with is 7.5 divided by 2 is 3.75. I'm going to measure from what I have here to here. So from this initial one to here. So this is 4.75. I'm here on the chest line. I'm going to start from here to get the 4.75. The reason for this is so that we can have a straight line for our dart. So having done this, I'm just going to connect. And here I'm using that of 0.75 on both sides. So I'll also connect. After this, the next thing I'm going to do now is start inputting all my measurements. So on the under bust, I'm working with 31 divided by, you can see I'm taking the measurement from this new center back line. Divided by 4 is 7.75. I'll measure what I have here and replace it. So I'll come here, I'm working with 29 divided by 4 is 7.25. And I'll connect. this is basically it for the back. You can decide that you do not want the back to be open, you leave it this way. But if you want the exact back on the thumbnail, whereby you have zipper and you also have button at the neckline, then you have to follow this way. So I'm just going to follow it this way. Now if you want it to be wider, all you need to do is to place your cover this way. So it depends on how wide you want yours to be. Now that I've done this, what I'll just do is to put a mark here, because by the time I'm transferring this to fabric, I have to indicate that I will notch here, because this is where this part will sit on. So this also applies to wherever you want your yoke to sit on. Just make sure there is a mark there to indicate that you will notch that part where your yoke is going to start from. What I'm going to do now is to put my zipper allowance. So this part here is not going to carry the zipper allowance. I'm only going to be having zipper allowance from here straight down. So from here now, I'm going to mark out my 1.5. So this is my 1.5. And from here, 1.5. So guys, this is it. The next thing I'm going to do now is just to add my necessary seam allowances on this part. I like adding my seam allowance to the back pattern, but you can also decide to add your seam allowance while transferring your patterns to fabric. So guys, you can see what I have here. I've added, this is my zipper allowance, and this is my side seam allowance. This is the under to join this with the skirt part. And this is the armhole allowance, half inch and half inch on this part. Now the only part, because I'm going to be slashing this open, the only part I would need to add allowance by the time I'm transferring this pattern to fabric will be here 0.5 and here 0.5 to join these two together. So the next thing we're going to do now is to cut. So guys, please, this very one here is stopping here. So by the time I'm adding the half inch on this part, I'll just add straight down. So just remove this. So this is it. So guys, you're free to sew this on your fabric, but for me, I'm just going to fold it over. I'm going to eliminate it by just folding it this way. So after folding it, I'll just use my tape to hold it. This way, I'll just transfer my pattern to fabric, and by the time I'm sewing this, there will not be any need for that. So I'll just turn this without putting that, because I've already eliminated the dart on the paper. But mind you are also free to leave this way and sew your dart. So guys, this is it for the back part. So guys, this is what we have. This is the front pattern set and this is the back. And for the lower part, I'm making use of this dartless skirt pattern. And as at the time of this upload, this is one of the recent tutorials that we have on this channel. So I observed that explaining the skirt part over and over in each of our tutorials makes the video lengthy. So that is why I did a separate tutorial on this dartless skirt pattern. So this is an updated dartless skirt pattern. You can use this pattern for your gown. You can also use it for your skirt and blouse. Now the link to the tutorial is on the comment section, and in that tutorial you'll find how to draft a dartless skirt pattern, how to transfer it to fabric, and also how to turn it with your lining for your gown. You also learn how to sew a dartless skirt with fitted waistband. So guys, we are going to be stopping here on this part 1, and in the part 2 of this video we are going to transfer all these patterns to fabric and do the overall sewing. Thank you so much for watching. Do not forget to subscribe, like, comment and share. I'll see you in the part 2 of this class. I am Modern Woman. Bye for now.